Now it's time for the district breakdown. We have Inside High School Sports Insider Matt Harris to give us a deep dive into District 15 6A.
Thanks, Ashley. If you'll remember, this district was one of my favorites a year ago. Now, Conroe ISD is off to 13 6A and Klein ISD stays in 15 6A and will be joined by the two Tomball schools to make 7 teams, a more manageable district than the 9-team 15 6A from a season ago. I'll kick it off with a team that was squeezed out of that talented playoff picture, the Klein Bearcats. A 4-4 district finish wasn't good enough to secure a playoff spot, just like Conroe, who we discussed 2 weeks ago. It was an odd year for Klein. They beat Klein Oak to open district play before losing 4 straight. One of those losses was a narrow 14-10 decision at the hands of district champion Klein Collins. They then went on to win the final 3 district games, but that wasn't quite good enough. Now, they'll need to replace the dynamic Bryce Corriston at quarterback. That won't be particularly easy, but whoever steps in will have no shortage of weapons. Tight end Mason Tharp is one of the bigger targets in the area and is currently committed to Texas Tech. Running backs Kenzo Viteri and Quentin Curtis will make for a nice duo in the backfield as well. I think Klein will absolutely challenge for a playoff spot at the back end of the playoffs. Next up is a team that just missed the district championship last year, Klein Oak. The Panthers won 2 playoff games and finished with a 10-3 record before bowing out to a really good Rockwall squad. Quarterback Montrell Bolton and wideout/defensive back Dwight McLaughlin were a big reason why Oak was able to make a 3rd-round playoff run, but now both are gone. Oak will suffer more attrition than most in the area, but they do return running back Charles Garrett, who already has 2 years of varsity experience. The defense will be led by Lance Bobb on the line and Kaysen Tullis at linebacker, but there are a lot of other questions. I see Klein Oak falling off a little bit from its 2nd place finish in 2019, but expect them to battle with Klein for one of the final playoff spots. Meanwhile, Klein Cain made the playoffs for the first time in school history, and I can guarantee you they aren't stopping there. Quarterback Luke Party had an excellent season and he'll be missed sorely. The good news is, Cain returns loads of talent at other positions. Running back Jaden Blue could have his choice of any college in the nation by the time this season's done, and he's just a junior, already with offers from Alabama and LSU among others. Another big weapon for whoever fills Party's shoes is wideout Matthew Golden, who's drawing college interest himself. Cain brings back defensive back Isaac Hudson and linebacker Dylan Stevens as well. Whoever steps in at quarterback could make or break Cain's season, but he'll have all the tools he could need around him to be successful. I think Cain has a very real shot at a district title this year. Speaking of district titles, let's talk a little Klein Collins, considering they've won the last 5 straight. Cain's biggest obstacle could be Collins, who last failed to win its district in 2014 when Kyler Murray was still torching the turf in this state. The Tigers return quarterback Colby Powers, who has plenty of Division I interest as a tight end. However, they'll lose Braylon Bridges at running back, which is big. Bridges was the driver of the offense last season. The good news is Donald Lee and Trent Ward are back to lead a defensive unit that let up more than 14 points just 4 times in 13 games last season. With another strong defense and a lineage of good running backs, as well as a history of winning, I expect Collins to be back at the top of the district. And the game with Cain could be to decide who finishes first and who finishes second. Circle that one on your calendars right now. We'll wrap up the Klein ISD schools with Klein Forest, who owns just 1 win in the last 2 seasons. Fortunately, the Eagles return one of the better backs in the area in Amonte Watkins, who has offers from Arkansas and Houston and others. I don't think Forest is ready to compete for a playoff spot, but the return of Watkins and quarterback Delvin Jones will certainly have the Eagles in position to win a few games, something they can build on heading into 2021. Our final 2 teams to discuss are Tomball and Tomball Memorial, and I'll start with the latter. Memorial had a surprisingly good year and a pretty good district despite having a young team. Now, they'll reap the benefits of being young last year. Quarterback Colton Marwell is back, along with his top target, Joseph Manjack, who is an SMU commit. Running back Carberry Barnes is back to run behind big offensive lineman Josiah Rodriguez as well. There are some holes to fill on defense, but the Wildcats return more experienced offensive talent than nearly anyone else in Houston. I expect them to be firmly in the district title race, making for a strong top 3 in this district. On the other side of town, Tomball went 5-5 for the second straight regular season, although 2019 did not yield a playoff appearance for the Cougars like 2018 did. They'll lose quarterback Hunter Dunn to Temple, and most of his top targets are gone as well. Running back Jermaine Mays is back to run behind a strong offensive line, but with so many other questions, I have Tomball missing out on the playoffs once again. That's mostly because 15-6A is very deep once again, and there are no shortage of talented teams, even despite Conroe ISD moving to 13-6A. I already know this will once again be one of my favorite districts to keep an eye on. I had a tough time predicting the top 4 playoff teams in this district, and I had a hard time putting those 4 in order as well. That once again leaves us with our final order of business, my team and player to watch. For my team to watch, I'm going to go with Klein Oak. The Panthers were dominant in 2019, but they lose a lot of top talent. I'm interested to see who steps up and how good or bad they could be this season. I really don't know what to expect. In my notes, I made a list of the district standings and had Oak slotting in at 5th just behind Klein. I flip-flopped so many teams before I arrived at my final list, and the only thing I was confident in when it was done was that I really don't know what will happen. Just like 2019, I expect 15-6A to be chock full of surprises. My player to watch for this district is the outstanding young back from Klein Kane, Jaden Blue. I slotted Kane in at 3rd in the district, but it's easy to see how the Hurricanes could win a district title just 1 year after making their first ever playoff appearance with all the returning talent. Blue's chief among that. I think if Kane is to win a district title, which will be plenty hard, Jaden Blue will be the one to take them there.